Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. And this video is to bring you a closer look at the Legacy number 3S-BK. This is a Kerf Silicone Gasketing in a black finish. So the 3 is the profile. The S, they're telling us that it's silicone. The BK tells us it's black. Silicone is exceptional material in extreme temperature conditions. I would use silicone when the material was going to be gasketing a door in a southern climate, rooftop of a power generation plant, Arizona, something that's going to get baked all day. Silicone is great for extreme temperatures, and it remains highly flexible. Okay, so as you're using this material as gasketing, it's really giving you a very small amount of closing force resistance. Okay, your door closer or your spring hinges aren't going to have to do a lot to overcome that. And because of how long that leg is, you're going to get really good surface area contact as well. It's a kerf in style, which means you're going to create a kerf in the frame. You're going to stick this material down into it. The question is how much do you space the face of your stop from the face of the door to account for this material? And just using my caliper, we're about 5/16, 0.307, 0.307, okay, of this uncompressed. The question becomes what is it when it is compressed? Fold that down, and without crushing it, just folding it down, without smashing it down, just imagining that we've turned it over, I would say that 1/8 of an inch is going to be quite reasonable as a minimum. So here's the bottom line. If it's 1/8 of an inch at the minimum and it's 5/16 at its uncompressed maximum, let's say you're really dealing with between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 inch that you would want that weather stripping to compress down. The standard dimension on the face of the door to the face of the stop could be about 60 thousandths, 90 thousandths. I don't think it's going to be more than about 3/32 of an inch. So be mindful. You'll need to make an accommodation for this when you are creating the frame, whether it be a door or a window. Let's switch to the screen view and we can take a look at this concept. So here's the item that we're looking at, and let's take a look here at the idea. So, I've manufactured frames for kerfed-in style weather stripping many times. Not a lot to it. We've made this material out of solid lumber. We've laminated. What would be a more traditional method of construction would be a piece of 1x material or whatever. And then you're going to add your stop if it's single rabbet. But really, you're going to take that stop that I just drew there. You're really going to take that piece and you're going to take a piece of material, plane it to size. You're going to just run it down a router table. You might just run it on a table saw, which I personally wouldn't do. I would probably want to run that on a router table because the width of the kerf is very important. This dimension cannot exceed the required dimension, and with this material you're going to want that kerf to be 1/8 of an inch, no bigger. If it's bigger, the weather stripping is not going to stay in place. So be mindful of that. And that's what's being called out here. Now my tape measure showed me closer to 5/16. So I would say that you're going to be in that sort of range. I would probably, 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 I might want to make this dimension because I was measuring from the underside of the head to the end. Okay, 1/8 of an inch They don't say how deep to make the kerf. You're probably not going to stress over that too much. If you made it 1/4 inch, and I'm putting my caliper on the piece on my desk, you would certainly be right in line, although I would probably want to make it closer to 9/32. You know, I'd be closer to 3/8 in terms of a kerf depth, not quite 3/8. Actually, no, forgive me. I'd be closer to 5/16 on a kerf depth is what I would be looking at. A lot of nice images shown here of the material from the manufacturer. So this is the item that we're looking at, and let's explore some of these documents that are here. Okay, so let's look at the cut sheets that's here. This is nice because it's going to show you, if you needed to include a document, let's say in a submittal, that would suffice for that. Product brochure is probably what you're going to use, however. It's going to show you the 3S right here. Black. I'm thinking brown and white will confirm that. Those abbreviations will confirm those. Other options. So the 1S and the 2S. The 1S is going to be very common. That we sell routinely. The 5S is not uncommon. None of these are uncommon, but I don't recall ever selling a 7S. But everything else we've certainly sold, with the 1S being very common. The 3S is nice and petite. The 5S would be a good one. They're all good. Installation instruction. Not going to be a lot to this, and in fact, this doesn't even apply to this. So I will contact my development team and ask that they review the installation instructions for this. The installation instructions we've touched on in the prior part of this video. The how to order, this is just going to be basically specify, for this item, specify your part number, which is going to be 3S, then your finish, and this is where our finish code is going to come in. We had BK for black, BW for brown, and WH for white. And that cut sheet showed us what the options were in terms of the finishes, BK, BW, and WH. Okay. After that, you're going to need to specify any sort of special requirements, such as ligature resistant. In short, ligature resistant will feature a scoring to the material in a non-invasive way that should the material be pulled on, it will break relatively easily. Wouldn't take many pounds of force to pull that apart. Now, I don't know patently if they can do that on a 3S. As I look at the profile of the material, I've never seen it done on a 3S, so I don't know that they can do ligature resistant on a 3S, but nonetheless we can specify it and find out. And then sold per foot, really. Order the next longest length. That's how that material is going to be sold. Everything else on the page we've covered. Let's take you over to the manufacturer's page here within our site, where you can certainly review not only all of the legacy products that we sell here, and as we scroll down, just page after page after page, but a link to that catalog and a link to the manufacturer's website as well. ICCA 117.1, that document is the accessible and usable and facilities code. It's the governing document when it comes to, how tall can a threshold be? Where do I install my grab bars? And every other aspect when it comes to the design of accessible buildings. We'll just call it the ADA code, which is what people are going to know it for. And weather stripping manufacturers, because of thresholds, and automatic door bottoms. You're not permitted to have a protrusion into the opening below 34 inch at all. So a surface-mounted automatic door bottom would not be compliant with handicap requirements. Commercial restroom equipment manufacturers are going to, of course, have a lot to do with accessible and usable building guidelines when it comes to the installation of commercial bathroom hardware. Okay, let's finish up this video on camera. Now, Legacy is a relatively new company. They've been around for a couple, 3 years, something in that range by this time. They are a second-generation affair involved in the manufacturing of very well-engineered weather stripping solutions. I would certainly encourage you to review their product line. They are growing, and they are eager and anxious for business, and they want to do a good job. This material gives me the impression that it is very durable. It's soft, pliable, yet it's silicone, which means it's going to be durable. Legacy is vertically integrated with their rubber plant, so they have good control over not only the availability of inserts to go into their gasketing, but also the quality is what it is. So a company that I think deserves a full review. If you're doing a project large or small, take a look at their catalog, and if there's anything that we can help with, please don't hesitate to ask. And thank you very much.